All right, we'll go ahead and get started. AT&T says it's 5 o'clock. I don't know, have you heard from Tommy? I don't know if he's gonna be here. He's probably on his way, so we'll move forward with this budget workshop. On the agenda is kind of the budget schedule. I know we were supposed to have already had one meeting. We pushed that out to this one, and we're going to try to get an update. Hopefully James might have something for us on the CVU, and then just kind of, we've got a working copy of expenditures for 101. We'll kind of go through these. If you have questions, you can ask them. This copy is for you guys to take home as this workshop goes, right? And everybody understands the budget process. Nothing's completely set in stone until we get moving forward with the budget and we'll get our revenues and get everything else kind of lined up. This is just kind of the kicking off point. A lot of these numbers came from I guess the folks that we'll see tonight, where they've submitted their budgets or their expenditures. Most of them, all of them. And we'll kick it off there. Like I said, there's no action tonight. Scanning through them and talking with Keith and Brenda a little bit, it looks like most everybody's asked for 5% raise across the board, and an increase in contribution insurance.
It's done that twice or 3 times.
An increase to $675. So with that being said, and I do kind of want to set the framework a little bit, guys. I'm not making any promises, but as we go through this, keep in mind our taxpayers, and they're hurting too. So if it is at all possible, I don't know, I'm not making any promises. If at all possible, I'd like to look at giving a tax break cut, if possible. We don't know that until we get the revenues, until we get through this budget process and the certified rate. So I just want everybody to be thinking about that when we're talking about spending, and understand the difference between wants and needs and that kind of stuff. And with that, I will kick it off. And Cartwright, have you got anything to add?
Well, I will say just a couple of things. Brenda's going to take us through this thing, and if the elected officials are here when we get to that part of the budget, they will come up, sit here. There might not be a question, but we simply took what they had. A couple of the elected officials, I got back with them, said this is kind of out of line, whatever, and they're always professionals. We've worked through some of those issues, so they'll be here tonight. I think most everybody will. So anybody with any questions before we start? Again, this is simply review. No action will be taken tonight. We'll come back on the 18th and for action items, not really for this budget, but some other actions, some transfers and things like that I know Brenda has that we'll look at then too. Also, I want to say about the CVU, James Condra and I met with the school last week. We talked, they had a lot of questions about the CVU coming forward. We probably will not get a certified rate back from the state until it's going to be all over July the 1st. Maybe a few days before, it could be a few days after that. That's just the nature. Statutorily, we have until August the 31st to pass our budget. Now, the comptroller likes it in on by June 30th.
Right.
Not going to happen this year. We've got to have revenue. So all these numbers based on that certified rate could have to change, because if the revenues aren't there, they won't support these, and all the elected officials are aware of that. We've got good growth this year, we know that. Let's just see what happens at that point. So this is simply a review.
And I would add, unlike the federal government or anything else, we are constitutionally abided to balance the budget. We
This
can,
state is, yeah.
yeah, for the state. We're not like the federal government, we can't spend and borrow.
Deficit spending.
We can't do deficit spending, so we have to have a balanced budget. And with that, Brenda, you wanna go ahead and go through 101, right?
It's a great budget, pass it.
It's a great budget. County general,
County
operations.
General, starting at the beginning, County Commission, the only number I changed in that budget from last year is liability insurance, 506. I do not have any figures from risk management yet. I assumed a 5% raise. That could be high, could be low, I don't know. But that number went from 211 to 220. It's the only number in that budget that changed because we can't give a commission raise this year.
And it was 420 last year,
And it's 429 now.
429 now.
The liability insurance went from 211 to 220, and that could change again based on what I get from risk management.
Okay.
Equalization board did not change at all. That's the next one down. It's exactly the same as it was.
Yep.
Beer board did not change. It's exactly the same as it was. Next one is county executive. The elected official rate is set by the state. I've got the rates here if anybody wants to see them. That come from the state. That first one is Keys. The second one is mine and Kendall's. The 103 line, that's assistance. I put it up 5% based on what everybody was asking for. That's just a wish list. It's up 5% from last year. The 138 line, the one underneath that, that's Tommy White, his assistant Josh Smith. I don't know if anything else went up. I mean, all payroll lines went up a little bit, Social Security, medical insurance, all that went up some based on the increase in the payroll.
Is the medical, that's one that I was gonna ask.
Yes, the medical is
proposed
based
to
on
contribute
going
to
up to the 675. Right now, the county's paying $500 a month per employee. We are requesting $675, which is the full limited single rate. Right now, now it will probably go up again in January. It almost always does.
It's gone up 3 times since.
Yes, it has.
we've not upped that line.
And we've not upped that line, so we're proposing going from $500 per employee a month to $675. That would pay the limited single rate for each employee. And that is reflected in the budget throughout.
And overall, last year was
Overall,
554, and you're going to 560.
Going to 560.
567.34 from 554, 484.
So we did try to cut a little here and there to make up for the increase in payroll and medical insurance. County attorney, I believe, well, we had actually budgeted county attorney, and this is a, whatever Keith thinks they may do. We had budgeted for $1,250 last year. They still said they were only charging us $1,000 a month, so I put it back down to 12 as opposed to 15. If we think they may actually ask for the increase this year to $1,250, that may have to go back. That's based on $1,000 a month, which is what they're charging us right now.
Okay.
Next one is election commission. I believe Jerry Ruth has 2 elections coming up this next year. Jerry, is that right?
November.
And that's,
August.
Well, actually during the fiscal year, but the one in May is a city election and the city pays for it.
but
So
one in
what I budgeted is for August and November.
August and November. So she has 2. That's why you will see almost a double increase in some of her payroll lines, her clerical personnel, her election commission, election workers, that kind of thing.
Yep.
Last year, her overall budget was 243,784. This year, it looks like 289,61. The majority in payroll for her election workers. Am I going too fast, too slow? Any questions anywhere?
Jeremy, the primary, will that fall in this year's budget or is that part of next year's? That would be,
The primary tomorrow,
The primary
that's this
tomorrow,
year,
that's
that's
this year's
25,
budget.
26. That's
so
already
just to
budgeted.
be August and November.
The primary tomorrow, it was budgeted 2025, 2026.
Okay.
I typically don't budget for it, because we typically don't have a primary.
Yep.
But I did, just in case. But I did find out when we went to the seminar in November that I'm gonna have to turn in all my receipts, itemize everything. The state's gonna reimburse us for this election, and that's never happened before.
Okay.
So I'll get a the county will get a reimbursement
Yeah.
for possibly
So the,
anywhere from 17
Yeah.
to 20,000.
so the two elections you're talking about is August and November.
For
Okay.
2026, 2027.
Okay. Register of Deeds.
Sorry, got sidetracked there for a second. Again, 5% raise. That's across the board for everybody. That is accounting for the 675 in her medical insurance. That's the increase in the, what line is that? 207 line. Last year, her budget was at 216, 239. This year, it's at 225, 741. Not a huge increase, mostly payroll.
Payroll and medical insurance.
Payroll and medical insurance.
Okay.
That will be a common theme. If anybody has any specific line item questions yet, I've got the old budget from last year.
Buildings.
County buildings. I don't think anything went up other than the 5% for payroll. I don't think anything went up.
335 went up because just cost of goods, 2x4s. They're up, any type of
50, what was
building
it last
products
year?
up. Also, the fair building on 335, they built the barn. They're asking for a little help on lighting the barn and also making that ADA compliant with some concrete work. So we upped that, what was it, 135 last year?
It was,
135, we upped to 15,000.
it was 140 last year. We only upped it 10. It
140.
was 140
Yeah.
last year.
So you went to 677.
I think we did up water and sewer a little bit from 50 to 55. Electricity, 2,000, I think, from 125 to 127. Last year overall budget was 655, 185. This year 677, 450.
Can't put no soccer net in that, can you, Keith? Can't put a soccer net in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Soccer net in there.
Kendra just walked into the register of deeds.
Hers didn't go up very much. did it?
Not very much.
Kendra, Brenda's going through this fast, so she just went through yours.
Yeah.
You're
And we
done.
got a ton of questions for you too.
Okay.
Yours went up a lot.
big $9,000?
Yeah,
Yeah.
$9,000.
Who's next?
Property assessor.
James, property assessor. What's
James, come on up,
overall
James. Talk to
here?
us about the CVU too, James.
Yeah, why are you up here?
Okay. I guess all of you read the Tribune and saw the article about CVU.
Mhm,
No?
Yeah.
a little bit.
The school board told me they'd seen it. In the third year of a reappraisal cycle of 6 years, you have to have what's called a ratio study of the value that we have property appraised for, and I'm talking about real property and personal property, versus where the market, according to recorded sales, is at. And when they ran that this year, we're about 20% lower than the market on our values. So by the law, they have to do what's called a current value update. This is done by the state based on their studies, the numbers. And so they're gonna revalue everything 20% higher. Somebody somewhere will push a button and it happens. As a matter of fact, it's already happened. It's just nobody's seen it yet. Last week, while I was out doing field work, they called my office and said they were locking us out for printing notices, which is about 3 weeks earlier than I expected. And so they've already locked us out. They've already got the notices, I'm sure, being printed. And tomorrow I'm gonna try to talk with somebody and find out when those are gonna get mailed out, but they should go out soon. This week, I'm assuming. Anything that we pick up from that date on for the rest of this budget year, we'll have to do manually and send those out. But the law says we have to notify a property owner if there's any change in the values. So we do that. That's basically it. In the year that you do a CVU, the state recalculates the tax rate, basing it on what the property tax revenue was from 2025. And so they'll bring that revenue number over, they'll take the new values, and they'll figure what the tax rate would be to hit that same amount. And I don't have that information yet, it hasn't happened yet. It makes it more interesting when you're trying to work a budget, you don't have any idea of where things are gonna fall. Now, I will tell you today, I tried to do a calculation and figure out what kind of growth we were looking at. But those numbers I looked at shook me up so bad I quit, okay? We've had a lot of growth, I think, this year, if you start counting from last fall till now. We've got something like 400 properties we're supposed to go look at. And that doesn't mean that all those will have changes, but I think the majority of them will. And we've already looked at probably that much or more. We're just, a lot of construction going on.
Those are all new properties?
Not always. Sometimes there's somebody that just adds a barn or a garage or something. It could be anything. I don't know how many new houses in that. I didn't really try to look that up. I think we're gonna have a good year of growth, but I don't have any numbers I can really give you right now. I'm not giving you the numbers that I came up with today because I don't know if they're realistic or not. I need to do more work on it. Do you have any questions about it? There's gonna be an article in the Tribune this week that talks about it, basically what I just told you. And if anybody has any questions, they're more than free to call my office or come by and see me. I'm more than happy to talk. I'm gonna post it on my webpage, so I'm trying to get it out there as best I can. Any questions?
And this CVU, just to be clear, and you have to say it a few times, right, is coming from the state,
Yes.
not from the county.
No. It's based on the numbers that we had from the 2023 reappraisal. That's where the values were set and our scales that we use for value and property and so forth. All that's gonna be adjusted 20% at least.
Did Marion County, did they do a reappraisal or did they do the CVU?
Marion County went to a 5-year reappraisal. There's not a CVU in that, and I'm not sure. I've heard different numbers. I think they're doing a reappraisal this year.
Yeah.
And I've heard increases of 90%. I don't know if that's right or not. I haven't talked to anybody about it. But they're going through a full-blown reappraisal.
I know a few people that live down there. And one texted me, he was pretty upset. His house went up $119,000.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, went from a $200,000 house to a $319,000 house.
Well, doesn't that make everybody feel better to know your property's appreciating in value?
Mm.
Maybe he wasn't, maybe he's underpaying for 20 years, who knows?
Who knows?
Yep.
One of the reasons that I chose a 6-year reappraisal is because I knew there could be a CVU in the middle. If you look at that, that's an adjustment midway through the cycle. And if you do an adjustment then, the end result 6 years later in 2029 should not be as bad. The counties that went to 5-year, they don't get a CVU, so they go 5 years and then there's a reappraisal. That's what's happened in Marion County. Bledsoe County also switched to a 5-year. It sounded good because the state people were telling us that if you went to a 5-year, you didn't have to have a CVU. And the CVU is a lot like reappraisal, so they expect a lot of upset people during that time. And so they're trying to say, well, there'll be less of that if you'll do a 5-year or a 4-year. Most of the large counties do a 4-year. This is an issue that's been going on since 2023. I know in 2025, they had hearings in Nashville about how they could work this, because what they're seeing is in Tennessee, the growth that's happening so much is that counties are looking at 60, 70, 90% increases when they come up on a reappraisal. And so the comptroller feels like that because the market is moving so rapidly, we need to shorten the distance of the reappraisals. And so instead of, right now, it's either 4, 5, or 6 years, with most small counties going with 6 year. It's gonna go to 2, 3, and 4 if what the comptroller has said comes to pass. It'll just shorten the time frame. You won't have enough time for it to grow so large is the theory. There's no guarantees of that, but that's the theory. I listened to a tape of a fellow from California talking to part of the legislators, and he said what we need was a Proposition 13 in Tennessee, like they did in California. And I can tell you, I've looked at that, and we don't need that. That'd be a big mistake. I'm sorry, I just carried on. When you ask me about these things, I'll talk about it.
No, so in your budget, you got, it's bumped a little bit, not much, 12 grand.
About 14,000.
402, 650 to 38, from 388, 458.
About 14,000.
Yeah. Is that,
Most, you can see there on his.
salary?
Most of it.
and-
Salary and medical
and
insurance, about the
medical
same as all the
insurance,
other
okay.
budgets. The majority of it is salaries and medical insurance.
Okay.
I'll just say that I think most of the officers try to keep things in line and do the best we can, but I think the salaries need, or the pay needs to go up.
Yep.
One question I had on it, you got all your people trained now?
Well, it depends, Frank, when you're talking about that. I figure it takes 2 years in the assessor's office to get a good, firm foundation on how you do your job. If it's more specific, it may take longer than that. So, yeah, I think they're getting there. I think I have several new people, but I think we're getting there.
Yeah.
I feel much better about it now. than I did.
State's not spending as much time with you.
No, we're getting
Thank you.
less state help than we probably ever had.
Good.
A lot of the things that they want done, they're pushing down to the local level so that we're doing it here instead of maybe the Division of Property Assessment doing a lot of it. They still provide assistance. We're very blessed we're part of the state, we use the state software package in our office. And so the state absorbed part of the cost. There were some of the counties, when we went to what's called Impact, which is our CAMA system, some of the counties felt like they didn't want to be too tied to the state, so they went with another program called Patriot, and they found out their mistake. Then they had to pay the IT cost, they had to pay the equipment cost out of pocket, which meant the county had to pay it. Whereas if you went with the state program, they provided part of the equipment and they provide the IT support. And we do pay for that. That's in my budget under data processing and probably
317.
Yeah, 317.
that and a little bit out of some of the others, but that's where the majority of it goes.
Any other questions for James?
Do you want to talk about all the ones I have anything to do with while I'm here? Or
Reappraisal's the next one. It stayed almost identical. I think it went up $200 overall.
Yeah, that's what I looked at, the reappraisal program.
Yeah,
It was 45,218 last year. It's 45,418 this year. Some up, some down, but it stayed almost identical.
Yeah, only about $200.
Y'all have looked at the Board of Equalization, it stayed the same.
It's exactly the same.
Yeah.
We've already been through it.
And the next one would be flood control, which is 57,700. I happen to be the floodplain administrator for the unincorporated part of the county. I'm sure y'all have heard that story, so I'm not going to repeat it, but it's gotten more serious now. I mean, we're now ready to fine people and do stop orders if they start building in a flood zone, especially a floodway. You have to have an engineering study to build in those places. And so it's gotten a little bit more important for us to keep up with it closer.
Injury.
Injury.
I think the only change in that's employee.
Flood control.
Yeah.
The secretary line went from 29 to 31. That's what I was just looking at. It went from 43,886 last year to 45,338 this year. I think the majority of that is the 2,000 for the secretary line, the
line, yeah.
161.
Okay.
One of the things that makes my office and other offices work so well is our employees. It takes people to move things and make it happen. And that's why we feel like there should be a pay increase for those employees. They're being called on to do more because our population in Sequatchie County is growing rapidly. I'd be surprised when they do a census if we hadn't grown by 2,500 to 3,000 people.
If they do the census.
And it's not stopping, it's still going.
Mm.
We're not seeing the normal surge of people from local. This is migration that's happening,
Yeah.
and it's big.
All right.
No, it's
Thank
not.
you, James.
Appreciate it. Thank you, James.
If you have any questions later, you know where I'm at. Thank you.
You got next. Trustee.
Trustee.
Last year overall was 359,126. This year 361,956.
And that's,
There was a big savings this year coming up in his office equipment line because he is doing a software transition. It actually started today that we have to pay for. We do not have to pay for it next year. So it almost absorbed all the rest of the increase that he was asking for, including payroll, bonuses, medical insurance, that kind of thing. That's why his overall is up very little, because of the 719 line. went down considerably.
And the payroll and everything, that's still across the board, 5%.
5%.
All right.
Yeah, 2,000, just over $2,000 is what it went up overall, looks like.
Yeah, just a tick over 2,000. And then county clerks,
County clerk, let me look. Last year was 484,036.
Went down.
Down.
Hers actually go
Yeah,
down. Yay, Lana, how'd
That's
that
an easy
happen?
one.
Where did we go down?
where did we go down?
719 went down, and, there was, I asked for like an increase on 435 of 1,000, but what went down should,
You tried to get reelected, huh?
Yeah, 719 went down by 5,000.
Yeah.
I'm just glancing to see what we got here.
Yep.
12,000, 25,500.
She had data processing or something, I looked at it earlier.
Yeah.
It was something like that. It was,
Go
I
down.
do have a question though, about the bonus that's still in there.
here it is, data processing services.
Yeah.
317, 52,500, 317.
Yep. Yeah, 317 went down.
What's your question, Linda?
You did see the bonus that I had asked for also, right?
It's still in there.
Still in
You
there.
asked for it, it's still in there.
And
We've got,
it can actually come from that reserve account for the Title III if need be, because there's money in there for that that can be used, for that. So we have to come out
Well, it still needs to be,
Last year-
still needs to be in your budget.
Yeah, it still needs to be in the budget,
Yes.
yeah.
You'll make that request.
Yes. When it comes time to pay that.
questions there? I like down, down is
I
good.
like, down is good.
Down is good.
Now, I spent every dime I had, though,
Mm.
in 2 months, so. I'm broke till July 1.
That just
Bought
means,
some paper and some
that just means you budgeted well.
That's how it should be. Any other questions? Anything else?
No. Administration of Justice.
Circuit Court is next. Last year, her budget was 332,268. This year it is 347,155, an increase of not quite $15,000. 6, 7, looks like about 8,000 of that is in her payroll. I think she has 3 people on the medical insurance, so there was a little bit of bump in the medical insurance, the 207 line. There's another maybe $6,000 right there.
Mm-hmm.
Plus my data processing there too. Goes up every year.
Other than that, I don't, let's see.
317, yeah.
317.
Yeah. It goes up every year.
Yeah, that's the maintenance from local government. It goes up every year too.
Every year that I've had it goes up.
Yeah, that's what we've got.
Yeah, and I do have an update
Okay.
that I wanted to, because I know that we've talked about collections. Everybody's talked about collections. And y'all had asked for an update, so as of right now, they have collections, Integral Recoveries has collected $28,919.34. Out of that, $12,286.05 went to the state Department of Revenue. The county got, in various accounts, $16,507.29. Out of that, $574 was earmarked for drug funds, but not all of that goes into the drug fund. Only a portion of that. Drug funds come from seized vehicles, seized money, sold vehicles that have been seized, and then the city of Dunlap got $126 of that. So, it's pretty
Do we
good.
have to give it?
Well, I already have, so. That is really better than I had expected. Majority of that is traffic tickets, though.
Okay. Good, thank you.
You're welcome. I was pleased.
Yes,
I wasn't expecting that much, but it's better than nothing.
absolutely. Any questions for Karen?
We don't ever sequester jewelry anymore. We haven't had any cases for that, have we?
No, we don't have very many jury cases. I've got 2 murder trials coming up this year.
They'll
One in
possibly be sequestered.
June. Yeah, they will be, and one in October, so.
Yeah.
How do we get out of jury duty?
How do you get out of jury duty?
Move?
Move. You have to ask to be excused. I can't excuse you, only the judge can excuse you. It's really fun.
So while I've got you here, so I got, met with our still current House of Representative Ron Travis, and I guess they're revamping the whole pay system for all the judges and all
I've
that.
heard that, yeah.
And it's gonna be pretty substantial. Would that, I hadn't talked to any of them, but would that be due to just the security and the nature of the danger maybe involved? I don't know. Have we just been
I'm not
lacking
really
in a raise
sure.
over the years?
I don't know how long it's been since they've had a raise.
Will they get
I don't
one?
really know.
For the general sessions, we get a, not circuit court, but
Right.
we get what the county's been responsible for, but
Yeah, I
he came
honestly
by a
don't
couple of
know.
weeks ago and said, you're gonna get something in the next week or two that's gonna, it's gonna be pretty substantial, so.
I honestly don't know.
But we just put in what we got from C-Task, is what we put
Yeah,
in, so,
yeah. I don't have an answer to that question.
okay,
All right.
thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. All righty.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, thank you.
Speaking of general sessions, that's next. Last year it was 135,472, this year 146,662, and like Keith just touched on, I put in a raise based on what CTOS gave us. I believe it was 2.64% this year. If something comes in, that line may have to change, that 102 judges line. Haven't seen anything yet, but it's a possibility.
It changes every year and
It
early,
changes
doesn't it?
every year, yeah.
But evidently, we're talking about a revamp, and that word scares me a little bit, but, anyway, we'll,
It is right now in at the CTOS rate, 2.64 or 2.74, I don't remember right now, percent raise, but that could change. Yeah, 2.74.
Strictly just judges.
It's mostly, it went up by his salary and Social Security, Medicaid, that kind of thing. Most everything else stayed the same. It's all salary.
Okay.
that could jump substantially.
And that could take a substantial jump, depending on what we see. Chancery Court is next. Last year it was 207,941.
Hello, Councilman.
This year looks like 224,159. So that's what, $17,000, I guess? Let's see, it looks like he upped his part-time line a little bit.
I'll go through, I got them highlighted, Brenda. So what I have, if we start at the top, of course, the CTAS number on the county official line, but below that, that represents a 5% increase from the current fiscal year. And as always, I kind of do a survey of what's going on in our relevant counties that are around us. And the only county that we're kind of slightly behind, and given the size of our county versus Marion County, and I would generally anticipate that. But the current rate in Marion County is $42,983. In Bledsoe County, it's 38. In Grundy County, it's 38. Both with increases for the request this year, so it's pretty consistent with what's going on
Around us.
around us. It is somewhat behind the national average, which is 46 or 45,906. It's a pretty wide range. The Tennessee average is 42,095, just from what I could find online. So I feel like that 5% increase, to keep it kind of at that range, is appropriate. The part-time personnel does not represent an increase in the hourly rate. What I'm asking for on that particular line is to, right now it's budgeted at 16 hours a week, is to move it to 24 hours a week. And right now I have that position that's open. What I've found is it's very difficult to get somebody to commit to come in at 16 hours a week and learn the job that needs to be learned without having a second job that becomes the priority. And it's just very frustrating. So that's what that specific increase is. It's just simply an 8-hour per week increase at the same hourly rate as last year. A part-time person was only here for about 4 months before she went out. Just not going to be coming back. So that's the increase in that specific line. Looking at a little bit farther down, again, medical insurance, I still think that needs to stay representing both my full-time deputy clerk position and the county official position, because you don't know what may happen within the fiscal year that we may need to pick up that insurance. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it just rolls back to the county. And I'm always perfectly fine with that. I think we have to be good stewards of our taxpayers' dollars. And if I don't spend it, I let it roll back to the county. I don't get to the end of the year and try to just spend through everything just to spend it. I don't think that's being a good steward of our dollars. I let it roll back. Moving on down to dues and memberships. So what that represents is both our coat fee, it represents our Tennessee Court Clerks Association fee for the county official, and then it also represents the Court Clerk Association fee for the deputy clerk. I found that I think it's very valuable to send our deputy clerk to, it's a one-day conference that's put on each year. It's a good training opportunity. You meet other clerks, you learn other things that maybe we could do better. And one of the things that have kind of come out of the more recent one is a pretty big focus on cybersecurity and making sure that documents that are scanned in or marked appropriately for non-public access. Because we do have e-filing that does present a point of access to certain documents. The other part of that is the Tennessee Property Tax Professionals Association. That's a $200 fee for that each year. I had been paying that out of my personal pocket, so I have included that amount in this amount this year. Increase in legal notices, recordings, and court costs. We received notice from the Dunlap Tribune. Now it's been about 2 months ago. Their publication costs they've gone up quite a bit. So I'm expecting hopefully a tax sale later this year, and it's just going to cost more to publish it. I don't know what else to say. And I'm kind of guessing at what I think that will be. Hopefully that will be enough. Postal charges, same thing. It just costs more to send things certified mail than it did a few years ago. So that represents hopefully my best estimate on that. And then also on the travel line, the only conference that we had really been budgeting for is the COAT conference. And actually, other than some travel stuff, I've actually been paying the last 2 years, I know this year, trying to think about last year, for my deputy clerk to go, because I paid for her hotel room. And so I've now included that cost in here. So that kind of represents the noticeable jumps, and some of the others are just simply increases in costs from local government and whatnot. That's where we are. That's the explanation as to why it's higher this year than last year.
Makes sense. Looks good.
You wanna make any- No
So-
raise for, recommended raise for county executive.
Well,
Recommend raise from the sheriff.
right. I will say, with our delinquent tax collection this year, it's kind of on an average kind of amount, not as high as I'd like for it to be. Some of that is just, we've not had that part-time person's help really pushing that out, so it just takes longer to get some things done. I ran the numbers earlier today, specifically on delinquent tax. We collected $149,069. We collected over $8,000 on top of that today. That'll come in. It's a really busy time because we just got 2024 delinquent taxes, and we sent out roughly 280 courtesy letters last week and the week before. So it's like swatting a hornet's nest. Everybody gets them and they panic and call and get paid, which is good. It saves them money and gets it back into the county's budget. So anyway, any questions for me?
Thank you, Jerry.
Okay.
Thank you, Sheriff. All right. Moving on. Juvenile court.
Last year was 139,150. This year 144,585. Again, looks like payroll of 5% for Kim in the 112 line, and the increase in the medical insurance. That's
Yep.
about $5,000 right there. Judicial Commissioner, same thing. Last year his was 44,912. This year 47,388. About a $2,000 increase for his 5% for payroll. That's it.
Yep.
Nothing else there. Now the sheriff, did you want to talk about that budget
Is he here?
thing?
Is he
Because
here
I,
yet?
Sheriff?
Rick
I
said
told him about 6 o'clock, so he had a meeting.
travel was up quite a bit on juvenile court, right?
travel, 355.
Now, the line you're looking at beside you is what we're going through this year.
No, it stayed the same. Travel was
Oh, is it?
3,500.
Okay.
It stayed the same, 3,500 both years.
You're looking
Okay.
at what's
I
been
just-
sent this year.
Yeah, this is
I
what's
got
been
you.
spent so far this year.
I got
This
you.
is what they're
I got
asking
you.
for over here.
Uh,
All right, now the sheriff actually submitted 2 different budgets. And I don't know, do
For
you
the
want,
sheriff's side.
on the sheriff's
Well,
side, in
he's-
the 54,110.
He's gonna be here at 6, so we can skip over him because I think he's gonna be here to explain that.
All right. Well, the one I put in, just in case there's a question, is the one without the court officer. That's what's in here. So if that's different, I'll have to change that. So we're skipping sheriff for the time being. Over to the jail. Let's see, where's my jail budget? Jail.
I wound up with some
Yeah,
extra
we
here.
can do the jail first.
I'm looking. Their payroll is a little differently. It won't follow 5%. They're all on a step raise. So that does not follow exactly. There it is. The only thing with that one, I would, for the food and the medical down there, they left it exactly the same. I'm a little bit concerned about that. Food and medical almost always goes over. I would almost suggest an increase in both 413 and 422 of a little bit, maybe to 245 both, if we can swing it. I did not do that in this budget because they didn't request it. But just based on past years, I would think they would need it. Last year's jail budget was 2,192,513, yes. And this year they're at 2,271,676, and now that's without the increase in drugs and medical or food.
You should take both of them to 245.
I would think probably 245 if we can swing it. If not, I can leave it, but I just don't think that's going to hold based on prior years.
Talking about drugs and food?
Yeah, the
Both
413 and the 422.
That's 15, 30,
That's another 40,000.
yep. Another 40,000.
Which would put them over 2.3. You can kind of look over the rest of the numbers and see what you think, but I just don't think 220 is going to get it done.
Remember when the sheriff might know already from the jail.
He's on his way.
Wait, no, what number did you say you were comfortable with? What's the number?
245.
245, okay. Maybe just write that down and ask the sheriff when he gets there.
Yep.
But to say, I think Brenda would have the most accurate information on that. She sees it every day.
That would push the jail to 2.3.
2310, 2311, 676, I think is what I come up with.
$676.
Now that's in my head, so that might not be correct.
That's brave doing that in your head, Brian. That was very brave.
You don't have enough fingers and toes to count that out.
Well, I just added 40 to 227.
I still think that's very brave. All right, fire prevention and rescue, nobody had said anything about contribution increases, so I left it the same. If that's not correct, we can change it.
Let me, you talk about the fire.
Yeah.
I've been talking with Tommy and some of the other fire people, Brian, just briefly. We hadn't got really into this, but I know that a lot of the fire departments, I'm not a fireman, I don't know. I think we at least give that as a base, but other fire departments that achieve whatever, and it's an exceptional rating or whatever, we should look at maybe rewarding that fire department for an additional stipend of, I don't know, $10,000 or whatever you guys come up with. But it's something I want you guys to look at. We talk about this every year, but you know, you take a fire department that answers 100 calls a year versus one that answers 13 calls. I mean, don't know that they're got the same expenditures. I mean, so, Linda, you don't say anything?
Yeah, no, I.
Tommy's not here, he was to do the talking on a lot of this.
You know, maybe we ought to look at what Tommy started proposing last
Yeah,
year. It
yeah,
was, it wasn't,
I don't know if something happened to him.
he had
was
different,
coming.
he had different, there were different, you know, different steps in the ISO, right? So if they achieve it during the budget year, then, you know, and he had like a ladder of increases. Is that, I think that might be a fair way of doing it.
What do you think, Brian?
I do not think it's a fair way to do it.
You don't think it's fair to what it is?
No, it's not. Due to the fact that regardless of what your ISO rating is, you're still responding to a fire call. You're still taking time away from your family. You're still contributing to this county. That line is $181,000. If we didn't have the volunteers, that line would be pushing $2.5 to $3 million.
I agree.
So are you advocating for an across-the-board increase, or do you want something to keep the same?
They want a merit system.
Okay.
Somebody that does better than somebody else
You can't
gets
do
more.
that. You either gotta bump it all up, or you make it an objective criteria. If it's calls, if it's volume, we don't need an exceptionalism board. We don't need another board or committee.
And I mean, to me, even the department that has the least is actually trying to help this county, regardless of how many people they've got going. I can't see this. They do better than this one, so we're going to give them 50,000 versus 30,000. That just it does not go good in my head for what these volunteers are trying to do for this county.
Well, I can give you-
So maybe those districts ought to put in the extra money. If they're being serviced more, they have, you know, like some counties I know add it to, I think one, like a utility bill or something.
And I
But
mean,
it's based on, you know, I don't think it's fair to do it across the board because everybody pays taxes, right? I understand what you're saying, but to come up with a system that, you know, if there is more calls in a certain area,
so
but we're talking the difference between a contribution, I think, and then like a subsidy, which becomes, I hate to use the word entitlement, but it's if we're starting to subsidize based on calls, then maybe we're at the point of growth where we need to look at a completely different model for the county.
We talk about this every year, and we can never settle on a amount. It's old. And at some point, there has to be either this the way we're doing it is probably the best way. Like you said, you can't pick and choose. But is there a much better system? Probably. But at some point, how do we get there? I guess that's it. I mean, we do, because this is the same thing year after year after year after year. It's what the contribution should be. Should it go up? Should it go down? Should it be different? Should it be this? It's just,
and I mean, it's like I've said year after year, the contribution is the contribution. It's a donation to us to keep going. If we don't get enough to support the department, we do fundraisers. We go to our community people in the community to help us supply what we need at that time. Or you play it smart and you put you a reserve fund back to where on those years where they get little, we get a little less, you still got it there.
What do you think about the 30,000, Brian?
I mean,
That you're talking. Do you think we should move that? I mean, you know, the costs going up.
I done my expected budget for Fredonia today, and it's $29,600. So that's for fuel, the electric. We don't pay water, the community center does, but maintenance on the trucks, which is ridiculous, but it's mandated that we have certain things done to the trucks every year, and it costs money. Is 30,000 fair? I'm on the fence on that. I can't really answer that question. Because some departments, 30,000, they'll get by with it. They don't need the bright, shiny new toy versus the old toy that still serves its purpose and gets the job done.
Well, and
I shouldn't have called it a toy. I apologize for that. It's not toys, it's our equipment.
Right. And my thought process on all this is we can push forward, we can debate this.
Oh, we can.
Until the cows come home.
We can.
Right. But, for me, on a decision like that, I gotta see what we can afford. I gotta see where revenues are gonna land. And because there's one thing, you know me, Keith, one thing, I'm not gonna raise taxes so I can donate to the fire department. I'm not gonna do that. So, I mean, we need to see what we've got, and then if we can afford it, 30,000 is fine.
And
If we can't, I'm sorry.
That's a good
But-
point. Every year that we do this, which is, the reason I'm always comfortable, whether it's 30, 25, 35, and tell me if I'm wrong. If Fredonia Fire Department had a dying need and everyone's gonna suffer, can't they come in and ask the county for an additional contribution, possibly? A bailout, whatever you wanna call it. So it's
Yes.
not like we're just giving it, but in a dire situation, don't we have the power to help?
Absolutely.
Then why guess in giving more to some or the others? We can, if there's a need made, a petition's made, and they bring it in, I always thought we can give them more. So you just come up with a flat rate that, like Brian said, covers the expenses. That's not saying that someone can't get more if there was a proven need.
When we ran our own ambulance service, we did that every month.
Oh, there you go.
yeah, every month.
Every month. We threw money at that thing for a long time. But I mean, that's kind of where I stand on it. And, you know, you're right. I mean, just last week, because I still get toned on South End. In the middle of the day, South End was toned out twice. One to set up an LZ, and another was suspected attic fire. Right. I was in the middle of work, in the middle of meeting with the BMW, so there was no way I could respond to it. But, and then they had another one a few nights ago. I didn't even hear it because I was dead asleep at that, like 1 o'clock in the morning. But
I mean,
I know somebody from South End did respond to some of those.
always.
Always. And
And I get the calls from the insurance companies wanting to know the ISO ratings.
Yeah.
Well, and I tell them the same thing. I'm not at liberty to give you any department's ISO rating, but here's the deal. A department with a 10 may have more responders to a fire call than a department with a 2. It's all to do with the way that auditor has come in and looked at you at the time he was there.
yeah, and I got a problem with that auditor.
I've always got a problem with ISO.
Because they're holding volunteer fire departments to the same standard as
Yes, they
a
are.
paid fire department.
Yes, they are.
And you tell me how many volunteers can go out and get the 64-hour training
Well, it's time away from their family.
and their job.
That's my biggest problem. It's time away from their family and their job where they're trying to support their family.
Yep.
I agree with the chairman. For purpose of today, we can't, let's just keep it until
Yep.
we get more information.
Yeah.
We'll leave it as is, and we'll circle back to it. And the sheriff is here.
So, Bill, we started on, we went over to jail, and we had a couple of questions that Brenda was going to ask about, particularly medicine and food. Also, we saved the sheriff's department for you because I wanted you to talk about doing the double down based on what our competitors, Whitwell, Grundy, Bledsoe, and Mann County are doing relative to hiring our people away. So anyway, but just kind of start in like you did me. Again, but Brenda, first, let's get the jail out of the way. Had a couple of questions and recommendations for the sheriff.
My only thing was the 413 and the 422 line were both left the same. We have a mandatory 5% increase from turnkey for drugs and medical every year. That 220 that he put in there, which is the exact same as last year, will barely cover that 5% increase. That's with no extra call-outs, nobody getting sent to Erlanger, no x-rays, no dental visits, no, that won't help.
Well, when he did that, we didn't, because the contract was changing, we didn't know exactly what the contract was gonna be.
It's 5% a year, it's
So-
mandated.
Yeah, but they were redoing the whole thing because it, so he just, because he's having money left over, just said, well, there's no need to increase. That was.
The
that was how
drugs
it-
and
that was how
medical
it-
is already over budget right now. He's not got any money left over in that line. Now, he may in others,
Yeah.
but not in that one.
Yeah, and I think, you know, that line, the medical line, I mean, I think Marion County's this year was like 600 and something thousand, and they have about the same amount of inmates as we do. So, what do we put in there? I don't, we don't know how many people are gonna go to the hospital next year.
Brenda
So-
recommended going up to 5%.
I said at least 245 for both
Okay.
lines.
That's fine with me.
And that's, you know, that's conservative as far as I'm concerned, because if
Okay.
you send one person to Erlanger with a heart attack,
Yeah.
it's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, we're
I mean, that's-
mandated at 220 just from what we pay turnkey every month. 220 is set in stone.
Yeah, that's fine with me. That gives us a little more wiggle room, I guess, but, you know, like I say, it might be 320 or 345.
But if we don't use it, it goes back?
Yeah.
Is if we don't use it, it goes back? Is that-
Everything goes back into
Yeah.
fund balance
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
not
Be
used,
safe.
yes.
Yeah.
It was, I just thought it gave us a little, because I know the 220 is gone. There's
Because that
no
really
doubt.
can't be wasted. I mean, if the medical's not used, it's not used. You can't, like, at the end of the year, blast it into equipment. So I think it's pretty safe if we raise it and we get it back if we're incorrect, right?
Yep.
What's the risk?
It's fine with me.
Was there one other line there?
That was food supplies.
The food supply, the same thing. I just
Same
thought
thing.
now, food
It was
is not
220.
over right now, but we average anywhere between $3,500 and $4,000 a week in food. I figured the line we've got right now will last another 2 weeks and it will bust. So I'm figuring
245.
about 24,000, so 245, I think will be close in that line. I don't know that it'll hold depending on how food goes, but my best guess is 245 in both of them.
But again, that's fine with me. We've, our numbers are down in the jail. So we were thinking that if that holds, then we'll be able to save some, but, I mean, that may keep us from having to come back late into this next year and ask for some more, so I mean, that's
But it's,
completely.
it's the same with food, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Anything that's
yeah.
not used
if you don't-
rolls right back over to fund
If
balance.
you don't spend it,
That goes back.
it comes back.
Yep.
I like Tom's thinking on that, along with that.
Yeah, it's far more painful to come 2 weeks before we need more money. I'd
Yeah.
rather not, don't want to hear that.
Right. All right. So, yeah, I'll just bump those.
Okay, I will. I'll
Then
change it.
that'll take him to
2.3.
2.3, 11, 676.
That's what Brian said.
That's what Brian
But he
said.
That's what Brian
I
said.
did it in my
But he
head.
did it in his head.
Everybody, that's what Brian said.
We'll check his numbers.
I have an adding machine.
That's right.
All right,
And the other one, what I was telling them is your sheriff's budget, you had two. I put in the one without the court officer. That's what's showing in their budget right now. So I didn't know what was going on there exactly. But the one that they're looking at is the one without the court officer.
Now, this is where, Bill, I wanted you to talk, because right now, let me update you, we don't have any revenues. We don't know when we're gonna get the certified rates, so we won't be able to calculate what we can or can't afford until late June, probably.
Okay.
yep.
Maybe even 1st of July. So we're just kind of reviewing the expenditures, knowing if the money's not there, obviously we'll have to maybe come back and do some cutting. But I want you to give the synopsis that you gave me when you turned in the two budgets.
Okay, so I turned in two. I turned in one with and one without, because I didn't know what the financial situation was gonna be. I know that what we need is the one with, and there are several reasons why we need that. So one is, we all know our county's growing like quickly. And if we don't grow the sheriff's office at least a little bit along with it, we're gonna end up at, not far from now, way behind again with a very expensive try to catch up. So I'm just trying to keep that from happening to us in a short period of time. So I thought a good way to try to do that this year was to add that one position, and that one position would be a court officer position. Another reason for that is right now we're trying to use just the officers that we have working. And if we have one court date with several inmates coming in, there are somewhere between 5 and 8 of our people tied up for that court hearing, which generally is about half a day. So that's tying up the majority of the patrol guys that we have, who are also responsible for answering calls out on the street. And then quite a few from our jail. So if we have that one position, that would be at least one position that would be in the courtroom. It would be a certified law enforcement officer who is trained and has the certification for the court officer class, which would take care of that requirement for us. It also frees up that one officer each time in the court to be able to go and answer a call somewhere. We had the week before, or maybe 2 weeks before I turned this in, or I think it was the week before actually. We had 4 out of 5 days that week we had court. One of those days we had 3 courts in one day. So that morning we had a court at the Justice Center where we had 5 to 8 of our people tied up, and we had court up here for Chancery Court, where we had to bring more people down here to do what has to be done here. And it's just really, really difficult for us with the amount of manpower we have to cover that. And then on top of that, try to go answer the calls from the citizens that are calling in asking for help. So that's why I added the position for the court officer.
So Bill, on average, how many court days? I know it varies, but
It
per
does vary.
month,
Yeah.
roughly.
I would say probably, you could count on maybe 2 a week. And you don't know how long that's gonna last.
Just a question.
Yes.
So when this guy is not in court, if it's on a court day, then he's on patrol. So essentially, you're hiring another patrol officer.
It would be like another patrol officer position, but when they're not in court, the next thing that they would be responsible for is serving the civil papers, which is another requirement of ours that we also have to do while we're trying to answer all these calls. So that would be their next responsibility.
And the constables don't do that now?
There is one constable that does occasionally.
Let me say this too, segue off this just a little bit. I have Kendra, I have Karen here. We've had some people to walk in this courthouse and other places, and I'll just tell you, they're unhinged. They're either a sovereign citizen or, now listen, they can get out of control quickly. I know Bill, the city, they've been down here several times. we've already talked about getting together and getting a safety plan or some more strategic planning done. That's not happened yet, but we're talking about doing that.
How much does this guy cost, or this person cost?
So the salary would be, a starting salary would be 48,000 and something, plus your benefits, it's gonna be, Brenda, about.
What, around 65?
I'm prestidigitating, hang on just a second.
Well, she's used a calculator.
Really, what I like about Linda's.
Overall increase in the budget would be $58,758.
Linda asked kind of question.
48.9 of that is the salary plus benefits, et cetera, et cetera.
This, like I said, this is a trained full deputy, so like Linda was asking, which I was gonna ask as well, are we getting another full deputy? So when he's not doing that or serving papers, can he be on the streets or?
That would be his next
Okay,
responsibility.
so you're really hiring a new, fully entrenched deputy that also has some specialized services.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
Without looking at the figures, how much is this comparable to what our current deputies are? Is he
Is that-
coming in
is
at a
that a
lot?
starting
That would be the starting position for a
He's
deputy
coming in at 48,968, that's
Yeah.
starting.
And what are our
at
current ones? I mean, you got a total figure, but what kind of,
That's starting for
average?
everybody, isn't it?
But I mean, right, no, I'm saying what we've got right now, they're gonna say, well, why'd he get all, you see what, I
She's
mean,
wanting to know like an average.
just an
of
average
all
right
in all
now,
of the
what are they?
deputies.
Well, I mean, somewhat, because
I know
they're
it's
on
the
step,
step,
so a lot
yeah.
of it depends on how many years service they have, what rank they are.
Yeah, they'll be above that.
They'll be above
They'll
what
all be above
is
what
here
he
now, the
started
base.
at.
That will be
now.
the starting, that will be the new step one, and they will all be above step one.
Right. So, and I think you kind of answered in a roundabout way, that one of the things that I was wondering on it is, but if you said they're gonna be doing other things, and would it be better to be under the jail budget versus the sheriff's budget? But if they're gonna be a patrol, then it would be under you.
Right. Yeah, they'll be a certified, they'll be just like our other certified deputies.
Okay.
Only they'll be assigned to the court.
And that's why I was just wondering if it's better to come out so he can serve papers and patrol if there's no court going on.
I think we need to do it like we used to do it, and let Karen pay for it.
Yeah.
It's not my responsibility.
Oh,
I think that comes down to, like the chairman said, if the money's there, how we look at our numbers, that's definitely something to revisit.
I agree.
And that's the difference in the two budgets that I submitted. One is with, and one is without.
The thing is, and I'll echo what Tom said, because what I said a few minutes ago, I mean, when we get revenues and we see what our growth is, if it's affordable, it makes sense,
It's certainly a need.
right? I understand.
Optimistic, be optimistic, I would say, based on
So
what
that would
James had said.
So that would be added, that would be under 106, right? That
The
expense.
pay
Yes.
would be, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And then the others would be under the benefit.
And then the
lines.
other, 201, 210, 212,
And how
that
many-
kind of thing.
Okay, how many investigators? Is it 4?
4, yeah.
Are they pretty busy?
Well, we've only been able to keep 3 in that line, because anytime that we're short, which we've always been either short or training to be full, and we always take that from the investigator line. But yes, the ones that we have are very busy.
The other question I had, I thought the resource, the 3 SROs that you have, I thought those are covered by grant.
They are.
They are. We
Yes,
have to
it's
budget the
reimbursement.
expense,
Okay,
but it's
got it.
reimbursable.
Okay.
Okay, so we're waiting on revenue to come into it. I think we'll put it in a different form.
And I don't think there's anything else really that we increased very drastically. There were 2 lines that we decreased. We ended up buying all of our patrol division new computers and screens this year. So I felt like we could drop that line for next year. And I did the same thing with communication. I don't know, Tommy may have a heartburn with that, but we'll see.
I think to Tom's point, though, instead of calling them, I mean, it would be a patrol officer with special, rather than a court officer. I think that was an important point.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, it would be, they'd be the same
As a deputy.
as a deputy.
Right.
Only that would be their first responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Motor vehicles, are you looking to add to the fleet?
Yes, so what should happen there is about, the way my math is, and I'm just trying to guess how much of the SRO money is left after the pay and all that. I'm thinking somewhere around 25,000 is what it would be this year, maybe. So that money would be on the lease payment.
Yep.
And then what we're expecting is that's gonna leave us enough money to add one more vehicle to our fleet.
Okay. I know, some of your predecessors, that's kind of how the way they looked at it is, you don't wanna go out and buy 10 vehicles.
Right. Right.
But if you get maybe one a year or something like that, then
Well-
as they come out of service and.
Yeah, so the standard has been try to get 2 a year.
Yeah.
And what we did was when we did the fleet, when we did the lease, we got 3 vehicles at one time. So what I did was I made that one vehicle for the next 3 years. So,
Gotcha.
so these 3 years now would be at one other vehicle besides that.
Okay.
Yeah. So it would equal out to 2 a year.
Yeah.
You know, one thing, back to the salaries again, that step raise that years ago we started with,
Yep.
and I know we kicked that can around for a long, long time, but that's what you felt. Do you still feel like that's where we need to be? Because I know, but I mean, insurance ate up a lot of their, I mean, I've heard a little wiggle that a lot of the insurance ate a lot of the salary increase they got. So is it, I mean, are we okay? Are we not now? We falling
Well,
behind?
I mean, we're still low. We're still low, but we're in much better shape than we were. And the one for this year does that same thing. It does the double jump like we've done the previous years since we started that. And the reason we're still doing the double jump is because the ones around us have gone up so much during the 3 years that we've been doing that. So for example, Marion County, with what they've submitted, their request for a starting pay is gonna be $26.30, and ours is just now getting up to 22.
So what kind of a percentage increase would the average deputy be looking at? Because I've heard the same thing that.
Yeah, so everybody on the low level, on the low deputy pay, the front line, would be an 8% compound. So it'd be wherever they are now, it'd be a 4% jump, which is a larger number, and then 4% of that larger number.
That's where you're saying double.
So it would be 8% compound, yeah. The ones that are more in the higher pay, it's not gonna be quite 8 because their percentages drop just a little bit the higher they get. So that as we go through this plan, they don't do this. Instead, they kind of stay parallel, so.
Any other questions for the sheriff?
Thank you. We're just gonna wait for our revenues. See what
Yep.
we do.
Did you, go up to the side of the mountain and see the truck rolled over? Or
I did not. I did make it up there. Yep. I heard it.
I heard it.
Yeah,
I heard the sirens going through.
yeah.
Hey, Bill, I do have one quick question
Yes, sir.
about the uniforms, and I noticed it was on both, I guess, patrol and the jail.
Uh-huh.
Is that like uniform allowance pay, or are you
Yes,
getting
it
like
is.
different? I didn't know if you were ordering, like looking at uniform change, or what was the increase for that?
Well, we actually changed our uniform a little over a year ago now. And so we're still with that uniform. So what we do is we increased that last year to 800 per deputy. So each one has an account there with 800 bucks to go. get-
I know they've went up.
Right,
Of
right.
course, like everything has, but has that
Yeah,
800 been
essentially.
pretty sufficient to cover their needs throughout the year?
It seems to have been, yeah. Yeah, it worked really well last year. We expect that it will be this year. Next year, we might have to try to squeeze a little bit more.
I got you.
Just out of curiosity, and I'm not sure, is it in law enforcement supplies, whatever, the flak jackets, the bulletproof vests?
So that's gonna come out of their, primarily gonna come out of their uniform.
Okay.
But we also work on grants for that. Yeah.
So, just as a question, because I haven't heard the prices in a long time, are the Kevlar vests still around $5 to $8 grand?
They are, I'm trying to think what we paid for the last ones we got. And we got a big discount, and there was
probably 4,500 in it.
Yep, I think it's about what it was actually, yeah.
Because I know they run about $6 grand.
Yeah.
And they last about 5 years, right?
Yeah, shelf life's
Yeah,
5 years. Okay.
There's one question I like to ask Bill. Through the EMT, why did you come back and get $400,000 through the EMT, after you budgeted out? What was the reason for that?
$400,000 for EMT.
For the EMT emergency medical, that came off their sales card, let's help them out.
No, Chester, that was
No.
in a budget that I was gonna propose to the commission.
Why did he need to get that?
That's when he done his step raise increase. That's what I just told you. That's when he implemented the step raise increase, and I took that tower side out. Thank goodness I did, because now we're not paying for it.
Okay, I just wondered why it come up like that, I didn't
No,
understand.
I had it in my budget in the EMA budget that year
Okay,
to build that tower that year.
okay.
And when they came with us to when the sheriff's department came to us requesting to move the officers up to be in more, what's the word I'm looking for?
Comparable.
More comparable pay, I removed that from my budget so it could go to his.
Why did he not come back through that commission, when that happened?
It was in the budget. It was at this point in time I done it. When we're sitting at this table.
So we voted on it.
Okay, well, that's all I need to know.
I just think.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Evans and EMT and EMA.
All right, we'll move on. 628, we got just a few more pages to get through. 101.
We were at,
Other emergency.
we were at EMA, we had talked about the contributions
Yeah.
on we'll come back to that.
We're gonna come back to fire prevention.
So we're at,
Rescue squad.
Other emergency.
Rescue squad, I left the same at 25,000, didn't know if that was up, down,
That'll be
indifferent.
another one of them we'll come back
That'll be another one
to.
we'll
Yeah,
come back to.
we'll come back to it.
Next one, Brian, is you, EMA.
EMA.
So basically, I left everything the same. She added the 5% for the salaries. And I think I added $500 for fuel.
Yeah,
Yes.
last year his budget was 209,288. This year it's coming in at 214,117, an increase of just under $6,000. The majority of that is majority of that is again payroll and medical insurance. No real, I think we upped his,
We upped my fuel line by
your fuel line
$500.
by $500.
And I'm nowhere near it, but I'm doing it just as a precautionary measure.
You never know.
I mean, according to this, this is what I've used, right,
This is
Brenda?
what the middle column is what you've spent so far
I've spent
this year.
$1,686 on fuel, and I'm also like Jerry. I will not, at the end of the year, go try to spend everything that's left in my budget. It
Thank
goes
you.
back in.
Yeah.
major increases just with
Payroll
And
taxes,
medical.
medical insurance, and a $500 increase in his fuel line.
Okay.
Because my assistant is actually back in the county now. So
Yay!
No
Welcome back.
No $480,000 for power.
No,
No,
no.
no, thank goodness that's free now.
All right.
Next one is the county coroner line. That one's hit and miss every year. We're actually, the top one is the consultant for
That's the medical examiner,
For our
right?
medical examiner, yes. The bottom one is the pauper burials. That's hit and miss every year so far. Knock on wood, this year we're doing fairly well. We might actually make it. If a whole bunch of people don't die real quick. But
All right.
I did up it to 72,000 as opposed to 70, just in case.
Yeah. You went from
So that went from
85.
85 down to 84 actually, because we are
Went
only
down
paying, it
3,000.
went down 3,000 in consultants. She's only charging us $1,000 a month. We budgeted for 1,250. If that
Okay.
changes, I may have to go back and change that back. But right now, that's what we're paying.
Where do most of the burials take place? Are they cremated? What?
Well, it depends. If it's an indigent, we always do cremation, which is $750 down there at Uton's. If it's not, then, that's kind of up to funeral home. Usually, if county has to pay it, we do cremation, $750.
Okay.
The majority of that is bagging the body, taking it for autopsy, getting it back into the county. Most of it is, autopsy fees, that kind of thing. It's not actually the burial, it's the autopsy.
Yep.
Next.
Next.
Let's keep talking about that. Next.
Next,
Tom doesn't want to talk about that. Let's talk about something else.
public health and welfare, local health center.
All right, the 55, where are we at? I've lost my place. The 55-110 is the county expense for the health department. This splits up a little bit. The 55-190, which is the next one, is the DGA contract, which we get reimbursed for. 55-190 is completely reimbursable through the state. That's the DGA contract.
130. 190.
Oh,
you said
190.
not
190.
190,
Okay.
the next one down.
Okay.
The 55-130 is Puckett. That's what we
Yep.
pay Puckett, and they've got a 5% increase every year, so it's going up to 231.
And that's with the new contract, right?
Yes, that's with the new contract.
Okay.
We
No.
don't have that
No.
yet.
Well,
Although
what I
it was-
had went
We don't have the
220.
budget passed either.
Right, that was 220, 500. They kept it the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll recheck it, but that's not what I had.
This new contract would top that.
No, they proposed that they wouldn't, for the first 5 years, 220, 500. And then the 5%.
That's good news.
Then the 5% kicks in with the 2 one-year options.
Yeah, they really did.
Yeah.
I got it down.
What'd you get for not being there?
Yeah.
Oh, but it's not been approved yet. We've got to come back.
No,
That
no,
needs
but
to
we,
go back
That's-
down to,
we need,
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree it's not been approved, but we need that number to plug in.
yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's pretty solid. Right, Keith?
But that's the last we had last Friday, and of course, we didn't.
Yep.
I mean, that's what they
finalize.
proposed, and I mean, we accepted the proposal.
Whatever the number is. Put the real
220,
number in.
500.
220,500.
all right, I can lower it.
Okay.
No, you
With the
weren't.
budget. That's $11,000 I can spend somewhere else.
I don't mind saving $11,000, that's good.
Absolutely.
Right, we should be
That's
picking over
Very
that.
good news, excellent news.
Number in.
All right, back to 55-110, which is where we were. Last year it was 41,423. This year it's 42,137. Most of that is because with this new next gen system that I have, whatever budget line you're getting paid out of, that's where your benefits automatically go to. So I've got to have a base holder in every payroll line to cover it. So I've added a Social Security line there for $400. That was not there last year. It was being covered by DGA contract, but I can't do that this year with this new system. So I've got a placeholder for Social Security, I've got a placeholder for unemployment. That's why it went up $1,000, not quite, $700, whatever it is.
Okay.
That's the only difference there. The 55,130, I will reduce back to 22,500. We'll save $11,000 there. Yay.
It's 220,500.
220,500. Yes. 220500. Yes. One after that is DGA, right? Well, alcohol and drug, we don't do that anymore. That
Yep.
program is no longer, it's zeroed out.
Zero.
So 55,190, that's DGA contract, that is 100% reimbursable from the state. Anything we spend out of there, we get back. So I left it the same. I've not yet gotten numbers from Lindsay about the DGA yet, but I left it the same. It really doesn't matter, we get it all back. So whatever that number is, we'll put that same number in revenues, it will zero itself out. What's next? Public health and welfare, 55,900. That is, the contribution line is our CASA, which I think we had in for 15,000, and Children's Advocacy, which we had in for 10,000. That's what makes up that $25,000. The drug treatment fund, I wasn't sure. I left that. That's that opioid. I left it in there at 100,000.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
That may change. We're gonna do a gap analysis like in June, but that's a good number for now.
It's a good placeholder. If
Yep.
something changes, just let me know. I can change it.
Okay.
But I didn't want to zero it out and it go away. So
Right.
I left it in there. 56,300 senior citizens is a contribution. I left it at 20. Again, I wasn't sure if contributions were going up, down, whatever. I left it. It was 20,000 left last year. I left it at 20,000 this year.
So question about these contributions for the 501s. How are we doing that this year? Are they gonna come in with a request?
On 5/18, the fire departments are scheduled to come in on 6/8, June the 8th. All other organizations are coming in as our elected officials did tonight, so
518.
5/18 for the fire departments.
And 6 what? 8?
6/8. Now, while we're on the budget schedule, this thing's gonna be pushed. We'll maintain really these, but certainly after the revenues come in, there'll be at least some of these things that we're doing, like adopting the budget. Vote to adopt on 6/29, that's not happening, so.
No.
But we'll get you 10 days' notice on any changes and that sort of things.
All right, next, library, let's go.
Next, library. Come on.
Well, Ms. Robin.
Approved.
I have some explanations. You know I love information. So I thought it would be great if I just showed you why I'm asking for what I'm asking for. I learned something new tonight, that 5% across the board, so that helps tremendously. Did you want one of these? Amanda?
Oh, sure.
Okay, so I am asking for a full-time employee, and the reason being is because I thought it was easier for us to see the growth of the library, because I don't need to tell you guys how our county is growing. So we started at 2022, when I started, to 2025, and then our projected growth for this next year. You see the numbers growing, and it's wonderful. Not complaining about our numbers. However, we are all being pulled, and I call it the back scene, our back scene jobs, all of that. We are being pulled from all of those to take care of our patrons, number one, answering the phone, checking out books, STEM kits, memberships, visiting, a lot of tours of the library because they love our building, they want to know about the library. So if we had that full-time employee, that person could focus on our patrons, answering the phone, and being the face of the library. And it would help all of us tremendously. We are 4 months behind on our new books, getting them on the shelf. I timed one of our clerks the other day to check out a membership pass, and it was 7 minutes because it's a contract. Our STEM kits are a little bit longer because it's a contract. They sign each patron signs a contract. So with this full-time employee, it would help us throughout the year. We could expand even more. You know I love new ideas. I just left a big conference. I have pages of new ideas that we could do, lots of grants that we can ask for down the road. But we're at a stopping point now in the library. We can't do any more physically. I can't emotionally. And I think it would help us all for a full-time employee.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
Do you not already have two?
We have two, and they have their jobs, the behind-the-scenes
And they're
jobs.
part-time, okay, and in reading your letter, and maybe I'm misunderstanding, county personnel policy says you can't start a full-time employee at less than $13.50.
Yeah, and I didn't know that.
That's personnel policy, so
Yes.
that's $25,272. Also, you're talking down here, which I'm assuming you're talking about Natalie, because
Right,
she's
and I
the one
didn't
making
know.
$13.50. It doesn't mention Laura.
No, because we all got raises last year, very grateful for them. But Natalie was our lowest paid, and she is the face, she takes care of all of us. And I thought she needed a raise.
All right, so what I did, since we had talked about 5% across the board, I revamped these numbers, giving you, Laura, and Natalie a 5% raise, starting a new full-time employee at $13.50 minimum. That puts that line item at $84,765. This is all in everybody's budget, because these are the numbers I plugged in. So Robin's line, which is the 105 line, the one at the top, will go to $52,500. She had left herself at 50, but it will go to $52,500 if we're doing 5% across the board. The second line, the clerical personnel, that will now represent 3 full-time employees.
So that number's including 3.
That is already including 3 full-time employees, giving the 2 existing a 5% raise and starting the new one at $13.50 county minimum. Custodial personnel, we didn't give part-time others a raise, so I left that the same. So that will be the same. And part-time personnel was nowhere close to being maxed out this year, so I left it the same at $27.5. Those were the only changes I made, as opposed to Social Security, retirement, life insurance, that kind of thing. Everything else is exactly the way you requested.
And that pushed it from 193,955 last year to 234,790.
Yes.
So Brenda, your numbers, Robin, the numbers that Brenda just said are the numbers that you're asking for, like this is the.
Now, yes.
Right, with the.
I just learned downstairs
right,
about the
minimum,
5%
yes.
and the minimum, yeah. I mean, very grateful for what we have, but we do need that full-time because of the numbers, and we're just gonna keep growing, as we all know. And we want to be the best library around, which I think we are right now.
I have a question where it says program attendance. What does that mean? Is that number of people come through the door, number of
Yes.
library cards?
No, this is, we have program attendance and then we have visitors. This is the page. The visitors is anytime someone comes in the library,
Right.
we count them.
So what is program attendance?
Program is every story hour, every summer reading program, all of our classes that we are doing. We keep those a different number. The state wants to know these numbers every month, so we keep them.
Well, to me, when James and Sean go out hunting for new properties, when they report that they found houses and they're bringing more money into the county, this is where it should go for some of this. I've been on the commission for 12 years, and will only be 12 years. This has been an underfunded thing for my whole 12-year thing. You're not asking for a whole lot. Every week or every month you come in, or bi-month you come in, you prove it every month why you need another employee. This is a no-brainer for me, and everyone else's budget looks good. This is a little bit larger increase, but like I said, I think you advocate for it every other month at the meeting, so I hope we can find money for that.
When's the last time you had added a full-time employee? It's been.
We have not.
Never.
We have
Since
not.
you've been here.
Part-time, a
No.
little bit here, a little bit there.
Yeah,
Nothing,
we did a
never.
part-time a year and a half ago. That was it.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Roger?
Thank you.
Roger.
Thank
That
you.
was easy.
Bring it back, $2 easy.
6,500. All right, the next one is Parks and Fair Boards. I know we have a bid out for the parks. That will affect the 399 line, other contracted services. That's where the park contract is paid out of, so I'm not really, I left it where it was at 30,925. Depending on how the bid comes back, that may or may not change.
The park board did meet, they opened those bids. They'll have a recommendation at the next meeting, right? 18th. There was 5 bids to do the park maintenance.
Five?
That's good.
Wow.
It's a range too. There's 5 different numbers too.
From 320 to
30.
33.
33, yeah. From 320 a year to 33 a year.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Oh.
No.
Gracious. What's one using a
Seriously?
quick
That's,
measure, one's using a-
and that was the range and everything in between.
Lord.
So
I want to know who has
Yeah.
stones to submit that 300 grand bill to mow grass. I want to see it.
I have a question because I missed it when y'all were talking. What is this for again? What
The
was it?
30,000,
For the bids that went out. What was it for?
Park
County
maintenance.
Park maintenance, mowing,
Maintenance,
fields,
okay,
ball fields,
alright.
things like that.
Every,
Mowing, hauling the
Linda,
trash off, all that
Yeah.
stuff.
every 3 years, we put out bids to do the maintenance.
And these are all new.
Reservoir
The
Park.
former one is not good, correct? These are new, all 5 new.
There's all
Yes.
5 are new.
Keith, maybe I missed something, but when are those due by and when will they be read? Because I've had several people ask me. and
We
I'm
open them today.
Oh, you
opened
open
them
them today,
all
okay.
day.
never mind.
Yep.
We document them. We'll meet the 18th. Paul said we'd meet the 18th, and the park will make a recommendation. There's actually one at 31,000 a year.
I think there was one.
And then at 33, then it went to
Then
70.
it was 102 and then 300. and-
I wouldn't do it for 300,000.
Hey, I wouldn't put up
quit
with mom
your
and
job.
daddies
I
and
still
let them
wouldn't.
fill off
Mow
of
the
100,000 a year. I wouldn't.
Somebody would complain about how thick the chalk was on the line, I guess.
and just for FYI, that 316 contribution line at the top, that encompasses several contributions. That's the fair at 15,000, the Veterans Memorial Park at 10,000, the VFW at 10,000, and the American Legion at 10,000. Is that 45? 10, 20, 34, yes. So that's 4 different contributions in that same line.
Question, and this is just kind of keep straight in my brain. The grant for the fair building, will that flow through parks and fair boards, or will that flow?
That is in capital projects.
Capital, okay. I'm with you now. I got you. I couldn't remember where we were gonna put it.
So last year, Parks and Fair Boards was 194,675. This year I have it at 222,425, but that may or may not change depending on the park bid.
Yep.
I just left a placeholder in there.
It'll change a little.
It better not change to $300,000, Jeff.
That's not my vote,
It
I'll just
is
tell you that.
I didn't know a lot of people that turned in bids.
I didn't either. I knew a couple of them.
I did too.
They were the more reasonable ones too.
Next.
All right, other social and recreational, that's fireworks at 15,000. Again, I didn't change any contributions. I left everything the same. If it changes, we can do that. Instructional supplies and materials, that goes to the Imagination Library. That $3,000, again, no change. I left it the same as it was last year.
Brenda, basically across the board, all contributions have stayed the same, not single, we haven't bumped up any of them, right?
No,
Okay, good.
no,
Yep.
no, I left everything exactly the same. I left placeholders. That's all I did. Okay, 57,100 is ag. Let's see. Last year it was 110,000 even. This year he's asked for 112,350. I think the majority of that is increases in salary. Well, that's really all he has is salary, so I guess that's where the increase is. Well, he did up his contribution. He did up his contribution a little bit from 13,600 last year. He's requesting 15,650 this year. That was a request from Sheldon. I didn't do that. But the entire budget went up $2,350. Soil conservation,
Question,
Yes, ma'am.
what was the justification for the increase in the contribution?
he requested it.
Okay.
This is department request. He requested, I wrote it in there.
Okay. So, I mean, Keith, is he one of the guys that's gonna come ask for, I mean, is that like the rest of the, he's not a 501?
He's not, he's through the UT system.
Right.
And he does like master gardeners, 4-H
Right.
club, a
He
lot
told, I
of
think
school
it's Linda,
stuff.
that increases the cost of goods for supplies and services, that sort of thing.
Probably
He told me,
4-H
and I can't
supply. It's
remember,
probably
I've been writing
4-H. Is it 4-H supplies?
I mean, no one
Camp
shows,
supplies?
no one shows to the
Oh,
penny.
he's tied.
So,
He couldn't
yeah,
be here. They
yeah,
had a-
but that's a good point. If we're gonna ask, we gotta ask. I would say put a little piece of paper, whatever that is.
I mean, it's
Is he
small,
not
but it's-
over budget now?
I guess I'm getting hung up on the word
No,
contribution.
you mean the 13C?
Yeah, it almost seems like this is like,
Yeah.
that's not really a contribution. It's more
No.
like that's like a necessity.
I don't think so.
In the budget of 2025.
And I could change that line item designation if it makes everybody
think
feel
that's
better.
better.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
we
think it
could
would
move
be
it out
better.
of,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like, materials
I'm not on
or
that
supplies.
we could move it out of
Supplies and
316 and put it in,
Yeah.
you know,
and then-
499 other
Yeah.
supplies and materials or something like
Something like
that.
that.
It may
That's
be
not hard
something
to
that
do.
he needs for the UT, but we'll come back
may.
with the.
We can
Yeah, we
ask
can
Sheldon.
find
Yeah,
out,
you
because
can ask him.
he, I wanna think he had to do a new printer. I'm
Y'all,
not on the
y'all
board
can ask
now.
him.
but
I'll stay
something-
silent on this budget as much as I can.
Occasionally,
it's
UT
good. I
will
think
send
it's
them
fine.
something and
Just
tell
put a
them
different
that
line.
you need
It's
to
really
get
a
a few
cost. It's
matching
not a
dollars out of the
Uh,
county to
That's
do
what I'm
this.
thinking too, it's not a contract.
That'd be my guess.
Yeah, but he's so children.
Volunteers, that's, we kinda have to have that.
On that extension,
Over the edge.
on Sheldon's budget, if I'm not mistaken, we pay a percentage
Of
of
salaries.
salaries, and
And-
UT pays a
Yes.
percentage of the
Yes.
salaries, right?
Because they send us a quarterly billing. We
That's
actually pay UT quarterly. for
And
that.
then the
Yes.
county supplies the building primarily.
Yep.
And then,
And
they have certain programs that UT will send extension asking the county to supplement, or I
Yep.
call it supplement it, to match some of it.
Right.
And a lot of times that's for 4-H camps, that's for, let me think a minute, there's half a dozen different things in there. Part of that goes to the 4-H clubs, I think, in the school system.
Yep.
But that's probably what she's talking about, or he is talking about.
Ask Sheldon.
ask
I've
him.
got that written down right there.
Yeah.
Ask Sheldon.
Sheldon, what the contributions go
I
toward, that's the
got it.
best way to do
I
it.
got it. Ask Sheldon. Got it. All right, soil conservation, and this may be another one. It is under a contribution line. What it actually is a conglomeration of the soil conservation secretary, the printing fees, the office supplies, they've always just combined it into one contribution fee, and they pay all that. So with the increase in secretary salary, they have requested an increase from, I think it was 25.9 last year. I've lost my place.
Yep.
Where am I?
25.9.
25.9. This year they're asking 26.7. Big $800 increase there. But again, it is under a contribution line. It's actually a conglomeration of printing fees, office supplies, communication fees for their telephone, and a secretary's salary.
You know, again, can we change the,
And we can. I mean, I can change that designation if it makes everybody feel better. They've just always paid it. You know, we pay them, they
Right.
pay the secretary, kind of a thing.
That sounds better than miscellaneous. doesn't it?
Absolutely. We don't know what this is, just, you know, whatever.
This is just our portion of it.
All right, flood control,
usually
James has already gone over. We've already done flood control,
Yep.
so we can turn the page. That gets us down to tourism, right? 58,110. The consultant line, that's Southeast Tennessee Development, that's the tourism.
ECD, tourism.
Yeah.
3-star, that's the class, isn't it?
I think,
Well, the 309 line, those, and I've got question marks by both those.
yeah, we
because
left that exactly the same, but I wasn't,
That will drop because we've got this grant for food insecurity and the health department.
the health
That
department
we're about
renovation.
halfway
and-
through.
yeah.
So that line will come down. So will the revenue line.
I'm
Well, the
hoping to
revenue
get
line
through,
won't
I'm
because we've
hoping to
not
get through
received
the health
anything.
department renovation grant this fiscal year. I'm pushing it hard. I don't know if we'll make it or not, but that is 3-star.
But
The health
reimbursement
department
will be there.
renovation and the food insecurity grant, but it should come down because we're right in the middle of all three of those.
I thought we weren't awarded 3-star this year.
No, we've not missed a year in 3-star.
Okay. Is that still, is this the third year of it?
We've been doing it
Or,
15 years.
Oh,
3-star, we've had 3-star for quite a while.
but is it, I guess my question is, because I'm not familiar with this, is it, how long is a grant an annual number, or is it?
I think now, and the chamber handles that for us, it flows through the county, but it's through tourism. It's a 3-year grant now, but it's
That's what I
broken down.
By year, yeah. You can only spend so much in a year, but it's actually a 3-year grant. It's kind of strange, but
But it's 100% reimbursable.
yes. It is.
I think it's tied to your 3-star rating too, is it not?
It is. If you're not a 3-star county, you're not gonna get it.
That's what I'm saying.
On the consultants, that just goes per capita, right? It's a fee per capita?
is.
So how do they estimate it
The
outside
rate,
the
the rate's
census?
done through an actuarial somewhat. We get that from the development district. We hadn't got it yet, but
Okay.
that'll come through them.
And we think it'll go up.
Yeah, it probably gonna go up. Most everything's did. Our number of people have gone up, see.
Yeah. So it was, what, 15 last year?
See, Sheldon said that contribution was for travel and mileage, so that shouldn't even be. in
Yeah,
there.
that shouldn't be in a contribution line. I'll change it. I can put that in a 355 line.
Yep.
That should not be under a 316 line.
Let's see what this is.
That's a good.
I can change that designation. That's no big deal. Where are we at? 58,190? The 310 is the 911. 309 is the IDB board. 316 is the span neuter program. It went from 228 to 246. What went up? 911 went up. IDB stayed the same.
Spay and
Neuter.
Spay and
and-
neuter actually went down. It went from 10,000 to 6,000. I don't really know why, but it seems to have.
Maybe we're transporting them, the animals to the other county.
Yeah, well, let's hope. I think the majority of that increase is the 911.
Is that per address?
No, that's, I've not went up on the contracted services for 911. This is the third year. So we had to do an increase this year.
Okay, I guess I'm asking what is it though?
It's for the salaries of the employees there.
Okay.
For the,
It says
so
contract-
we do,
Right.
911 technically, all we have to do is answer the phone.
Right.
We dispatch and do county and city county warrants, city validations. So that contribution is split between the county and the city at the rate of 66.34, I believe is the numbers. And like I said, this is the third year with no increase, and I could not move the budget around to make it work this time.
And any other questions?
And that increase is only going to employee salaries.
Okay.
That 195,820.
Yeah, in line 310. That's all 911.
How many
Is that the same
employees?
percentage? 5%?
I do not do percentages because it is not fair to a person that hired in last year or 2 years ago versus a person that's been there 15 years. I do a straight across the board flat rate increase for my employees. So,
How many employees you got?
13.
13. Veteran services, is that the next one?
Mm-hmm. We're getting close.
We're getting close.
That's Jim.
Mr. Jim,
There is one error, Brenda. Line item 201 should be 2,500, not 24.
I knew that. I put it in at 25.
Okay, maybe I've got the outdated copy.
No, I just put it in at
Okay.
25. I knew that number didn't work.
Yeah, I was wrong. Increase in amounts of in clerical bonus and decreases in line items for postal, office supplies, and other equipment.
Last year's budget was 43,150. This year's budget is 45,800. My only thing with that is if we're doing a straight across the board 5%, that increase is about 9.25%.
No, so you're saying this is a 9.25% increase? So I guess she's asking for justification.
Okay. So,
Is it the same reason as Brian gave for 911? Just tell me.
Well, now I'm contracted services. This
Okay.
board has nothing to do with
Okay.
me.
But I mean, is it where, but the argument is a 5% not, give the explanation why it's not 5%.
okay. I was looking at kind of the averages for this level of experience.
Right.
And so I was just trying to catch up to what kind of the normal is for 4 years. And, I mean, like the average pay full-time in Tennessee is 54,000. So of course, I would only be 3/4 of that because I work 30 hours a week instead of 40. But so this would be quite a bit more, but like that would have been 30, which of course $1,000 to not ask for, so just an increase of, from 2014 to 22.
You know, what does Bledsoe's person get? Do you know? Or do they even have one? I don't know anything about these with other counties. What's the comparison like Bledsoe and Grundy and Marion, do you know?
Okay. I don't know exactly what they're paid.
Okay.
I do know what I don't have it with me, but I do know what their total budget is, but I don't know how much of that is salary.
What about their volume of people that they work with or
Marion
help?
Marion has 24 hours a week. They have 1,700 veterans, and Bledsoe has 900.
And on average, what do you?
I have 1,140.
Okay.
That's my point. My point is, if anyone pushes back, you should probably be paid more than all those people. So that's what I'm saying. If it comes to that, maybe get those numbers, if need be.
Okay, yeah, I'll have them.
I'm not pushing back, but I know last year, maybe it was the year before, you did a whole kind of a justification.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not pushing back on.
No,
I mean,
it's okay.
the economic impact and everything else and the volume you have, plus what you do over and above what the VSO for the county does at the, at the higher levels. I mean, there's plenty of justification.
Yeah, we are currently setting, as far as rankings in dollars per veteran total, we're 5th in Tennessee. In dollars per veteran, as far as comp and pension, we're 2nd. And the new statistic that was released last year in dollars per widow, we're 1st.
I think what Linda's doing and I'm doing is we're fine with it.
Okay.
If anyone else says it, you've got justification, just like the library.
Right.
Okay.
You and the library people make the best presentations
Right.
for justifications. This is good here, in case someone else says, well,
Sure.
everyone else got 5%, you got 9, you're gonna say why with confidence. That's all. That's why that's why I'm asking the question.
Right to ask.
I think you're doing a fantastic job. That's what I was getting at. I
That's
just
what
wanted to-
Linda just
Yeah,
stressed.
exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
what he's brought back
Yes.
to us in our
You just gotta have your
county.
story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Somebody will ask.
Someone will.
Yeah,
be on
definitely.
for it.
Everybody will
Everybody.
ask.
Everybody
Okay.
will
Story
ask.
needs to
And
get
as
to
far
us.
as
your story
Yes,
goes.
but yeah.
Oh, sure. And
I
You don't
mean,
have to convince me
his story needs to get
or anybody on this board, but there'll be somebody asking.
there is an update to what
Be
Linda
like
asked
broke,
about
don't fix it.
higher level. That has been signed into law. And the state will be doing an assessment of all the counties in Tennessee to determine how they're doing. So that is officially, law as of today, effective 27th.
So bottom line, we're bumping from what, 43 to 45?
43,150 last year to 45,800 this year, so 2650 to be exactly exact.
You do an excellent job. I wouldn't bat an eye at that.
Anything else?
Anything else for veteran services?
That still seems like such a low salary.
Appreciate it, Jim.
That's what it is.
Okay, all that is left is the trustee commission, which is a shot in the dark every year. I did raise it, what was it last year, from 135 to 140. That's based on revenues that come into the trustee's office. It actually goes back into a revolving fund, but you have to spend it to get it back. So it's based on how much revenue comes into the county. And the workers' comp, again, I have not yet heard from Tennessee Risk Management. I upped that from 73 to 75 just as a placeholder, but until I hear back from Tennessee Risk Management, I won't know
We
for
won't know
certain.
exactly what the rate is. That's,
So overall budget last year for 101 expenditures was 11,507,922. This year is 11,970,948. So about 463,000. Am I reading that right? No? Yes? Yes.
probably so,
463,000 total.
increase.
Of course, we don't know what increase in revenues may be.
Right. So we're looking at last year, and we won't know till we get the evaluation, right? Then you're talking, last year's penny was what, 50?
Penny was,
Hang on,
58.
58,
I think it was 58 something. Let me look.
so
Let's do a calculation.
Well, what was our actual increase? Because obviously we collected more, because we didn't know the number last year either. What was our actual increase in revenues off what we thought? Does anyone know that number? Like how much more?
Not yet.
not yet.
$1 million?
Well, I didn't bring the revenues up here. I can get that number for you, Tom. I
That's
can
good,
tell you,
though. I'm
I can,
sure.
oh yeah,
Higher than
it's over.
435.
It's definitely
Yeah.
over. I think we've already exceeded, property tax numbers at this point.
I'm pretty sure we have to.
So it looks right.
It does. And it looks like, well, we won't know if the CV gets done, but we set up a gambling ring here and see. I'm guessing Penny's gonna be 70 to 80,000 this year. Because James was talking 20% increase, right?
Kelsey take that bet.
What he said.
We covered it, the transfer out, that's gonna be when Highway presents.
Yeah, well, we can talk about it, the transfer out the highway.
Transfer, yeah, 175, that's for highway. I was looking for that penny calculation. I know it's in here somewhere.
Is that what we transferred last year? And you just left that as a placeholder?
No, it was 125 last year.
125.
I guess my question would be is, last year we started, we gave the highway department money from county funds. What, I'm always gonna ask, what's the justification for this? And then also, if we want, roads, everybody always wants better roads and that. The real money, I think, is to work through the legislature to have more sharing of what the state gets to return back to the counties. So, what are we doing on that kind of front? I know the real estate transfer tax, that failed. Don't know if that's going up again. I don't think it's gonna happen this year. Then there's also a greater cut of sales tax and other revenues that the state gets to kick back to the county. I realize that's highly political, but other counties are beating up their legislators, to try to put stuff in front of the legislature. The justification's easy. It's like, the growth is killing us.
I don't disagree with that.
I don't either.
I'll tell you what,
And we'll have, well, Ron's lame duck because he's gonna be, he's running for Ray County mayor. So we'll have a new, state representative.
Gross yield on a penny last year, Jeff, was 57,386.
57,386.
I knew it was in here somewhere.
State almost got a bill passed that they were gonna get some of their property taxes, am I not right? They got defeated.
killed in committees. Got beat in committee.
Yeah, and the committee, but nothing ever dies totally. It'll come back a time or two.
Todd's so focused on schools, but they're sitting on a big pile, mountain of cash. The money's not the issue in schools, it's performance.
Yeah. And that's a difficult, schools is a difficult one to tackle.
So we can beat up so hard.
So
We've had that one.
before we wind up, and I know everybody's got a copy of this, and I made notes on mine, and Brenda will plug in some of the numbers that we talked about. Kind of going through our workshop. That's 2025. No wonder that was the wrong workshop. What's your workshop look like?
Workshop budget.
Yeah. I So 5/18's the next meeting, and we should, fire departments are invited,
They are,
and highway department.
We're gonna push highway back because, you know, he's not got his stuff ready either
Okay.
because of different reasons than the penny calculation, so.
Right.
He's working on some notice.
It's hard for anybody to do anything without revenues, Keith. It's just hard.
Well, one of the things, and I know we're not voting on anything on this, but something to be thinking about for 5/18, right, is, we're still gonna do our year-end housekeeping in June, in June. But we'll not be presenting budget, the 26-27 budget to adopt on the 29th of June. So maybe
Like I said,
on
statutorily, we've got 12 to 30.
right, but maybe on the 18th, we all think about it here and see. I don't know if we'll have a better idea on revenues or not, but see when we can push what dates we can meet, or I know it's what, 10 days, 7 days. It's got to be published, right? If we're going to take
We've
action.
already published that document, but I'm to give notice 10 days at the bottom of HRC.
Yeah.
We'll get with the budget committee 10 days in advance.
Okay.
It's actually 5 days public notification.
Yeah.
And if it comes down to adopting the budget, you said earlier.
We could push it
We
to
can do it
August.
till August the 30th.
Okay, because my thought was if you get into around the 4th of July, the week before and the week after, it's gonna be tough to have everybody here.
Actually, I don't want to say this out loud too much, but I'm pretty certain that one year, years and years ago, I've been on this thing too long, one year, years and years ago, and we didn't get the budget until, like, it was almost September.
It was close.
It was like middle
You
of
are
September.
correct.
August 31st, but we.
Yeah, I think technically we did make August 31st, but I mean, it was like the last.
Is that right?
Yeah. And a lot of that was waiting on getting the numbers, getting the evaluation. So, yep. There's anything else that I see on the agenda that we need to cover?
Is school still gonna present theirs on
Do
the,
we have any
Everything's gonna be pushed back for the school.
proposal for like the
Okay.
smaller funds,
They need the
sanitation,
revenues too.
drug
We
fund?
Well,
can't
that's
figure
right.
anything.
Because I've not even
with
plugged those
revenues.
in yet.
No.
I can.
No, what
I guess.
we can do is, in our next meeting, if you have those sanitation and drug fund, you can plug those in and we'll have those to review. I mean, 'cause this,
I should have a pretty good idea on debt service later this month because principal comes in May. So I should know principal on debt service by the end of this
And by
month.
June, first week in June, I'll have all the grants on what.
For
we can budget
171?
for. And 101, we've got the health department grant, we'll have what we've expended, what we've gotten
Get
back.
that over with by June 30th.
Can we possibly get, the document just even a couple days ahead of the meeting so we can just at least
I'll
absorb it?
try, Linda, I certainly will.
For those smaller funds, is that what you're talking about, the expenditure,
No,
like
just,
the thing you
you know,
got
What we
tonight?
just reviewed.
Just
should be-
review,
I'm just-
I get it to you.
We were key punching stuff in it.
I didn't
3
get you
o'clock
April's
today.
expenditures either, did I? I will.
I know.
yeah.
And reconcile the opioid thing.
But we will,
All my free time.
Yep, your free time.
I won't keep punching in, but I'll make sure Brenda gets it.
Thank you, Joe.
But no, and yeah, that'd be good if we can get those a little bit ahead of the things so we have time to look at.
I told Keith I appreciate him serving dinner to all of us here this evening.
Yeah.
He just did.
Big spender.
Hey, everybody running for election tomorrow? Good luck.
Yep.
I voted.
We may
Appreciate it.
We may need a mental evaluation.
I appreciate everyone showing up.
Constables got-
Oh, we gotta make a
constables have to have one.
Motion adjourned.
Make a motion.
To adjourn.
Everybody stand
Where's your
up.
gavel?
I didn't bring